We have banged all the demon booty. We have touched all the butts. We have captured all the bays. We have yada yada yada. James, Eric, Sam, Matthew, Damien. We have some extra we have some extra stuff to get. We have nothing for Naomi. We have one for Suzu. But what we're gonna focus on first, I guess Andrew. I guess we'll touch some Andrew butt. So, pretty much, this is the finale of Seduce Me. I'm gonna get all the little cutscenes. Everything that's gonna be different from the main story I'm gonna get all these. So, it's gonna be a very chopped video. But how we're gonna start this video off is with a new game. With a new... Go away. With a new game. Yes. Skip it all. We're gonna name our character Sexto. Like always. I'll see you guys in the near future. There's something I want to try here. When it comes to Damien, we've always been calm. What happens if we jumped up and protect ourselves? I instantly jumped up and grabbed a pillow, covering myself with it. I felt stupid, yes, but who knows what this guy could do? Do your worst this time, I'm prepared. He didn't move. I guess he wasn't going to attack me. Sorry. One thing still concerned me, though.
I'm not going to use my powers on you.
Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Trying something new. You can have it.
What? I appreciate the thought, but no thanks.
That's too bad, are you sure? I picked up the doll and waved it around him. It was funny teasing me.
Help! It's gonna kill me!
This is so sad. Alright, I'll stop.
Anyway, I'm heading back to help out with the food. You can come over if you're hungry.
Yeah, no. What happens if we smack Eric? Smack him! Oh wait, I've been through that.
That's going to sting.
I remember I kept doing it over and over again and I couldn't understand why. Whoopsies. And here comes the first real choice of tonight's finale. Whatever. I'll go out with Suzu and Naomi.
Are you sure?
Positive. I'm sure I trust these guys to be able to work everything out.
Thank you for
I just
trusting
met
us,
them
miss.
yesterday.
We'll have everything done for you by the time you return home.
You better.
Alright, we'll wait here while you go get your things.
I was strangely relieved to know that everything was going to be okay while I was gone from the house. I trusted the guys enough to do everything they could do for the house party, so my mind focused itself on hanging out with my friends. Eventually, I was at the door walking towards Naomi's car with Naomi and Suzu. Suzu grabbed the entire back seat as I took the passenger side. Naomi started up the car and drove off towards the city. It was nice driving out with my friends. After all that had happened, it was good to just go out and forget my troubles.
Well, since we got you out of the house, we might as well go to the mall and walk around a bit. We did just eat breakfast after all.
Yeah, that was a good meal, though.
Could have had more flavor, in my opinion.
Suzu?
Suzu, you eat chili peppers when you're bored. Everything you eat always needs more flavor.
You need to teach him, Suzu! Teach me, Suzu!
You just need to eat spicy food all the time. You gotta tame your mouth.
She does look like a dragon a bit.
Tame your mouth? Really, Suzu?
Sounds difficult.
Anyways, after the mall,
Jesus.
what do you want to do? We could go to the Pink Lady Cafe and chill out with Kay. I'm sure she'd love the company.
But we have to stop by the arcade. They have this new game out called Orion. You get to control this guy named Isaku, and you're part of the rebel forces, and you get to shoot things, and there's robots, and...
Sheesh, we get it, Suzu, we get it. We'll go to the arcade.
What is with the skip? I've been playing this game for so long, the skipping is... The game just can't take it anymore. The game's like, okay, I'm getting tired. Just quit. Which one first, though? You know how popular Kay is. She'll be swamped with customers later in the day.
I'd rather go in the late afternoon. She has better options during the last hour of the cafe.
So basically after the arcade?
You figured me out so quickly, Patterson.
What did I tell you about using my last name?
Okay, last time I went to the arcade, we're going to the Pink Lady Cafe to see Kay, because we don't know who Kay is. We hit the mall and walked around a bit. Ain't that some pretty music? Walked around a bit as we planned before driving over to the Pink Lady Cafe. It was a small home-style cafe with a lot of pink. Kind of like Barbie's dream house up in here. And when I say a lot of pink, I mean a lot of pink. Well, aren't you cool? Girl, you redhead. What's up? Where your freckles at? The cafe was crowded, but we definitely caught Kay's attention as we walked in.
Hey, girls, hey! Oh my gosh, I'm so
Whoa.
happy to see you! Have a seat. I'll be with you in a minute, okay?
That's not a voice I expected, but hey. She has a little K necklace.
And there she is, as busy as usual.
Told you we should have gone to the arcade first.
Ouch. Naomi glared at Suzu before leading us to the table to sit at. Suzu sat across from me as Naomi sat to my side. After a couple seconds of settling into our seats, Kay slid into an empty fourth seat with a smile.
So, how's everything been?
I'm hooking up with a bunch of guys. Crazy.
Life's always crazy with you.
She sounds drunk.
Suzu's not happy to be here. That kind of breaks my heart, you know.
You know, you sound kind of drunk. Guys, I think she put some shots in her coffee this morning. Suzu smirked and gently punched Kay in the shoulder, making Kay laugh. Naomi and I chuckled at the sight. Kay and Suzu were like sisters, wild and crazy. However, Kay didn't have any known relatives, so it was always nice to see her connect with Suzu.
How about you, Naomi? Have you figured out your problems?
What problems?
No, and now's not the time to talk about them, Kay.
What problems?
Naomi keeping secrets from us? That's a first.
She holds more than secrets, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, goodness.
You guys!
You can't read with that face. Don't worry about it, Naomi. You can tell us on your own time. Naomi stared at me briefly before smiling in relief and happiness.
Thanks.
That's a face. That is a face and a half. That's... Kate giggled as Suzu rolled her eyes and groaned. Eventually, the four of us just started to chat and talk about random events that happened to us. I decided not to speak about the boys, just focus on school. Truly, this is a finale. What do you think you're doing? Get out of here. Get out of here. Why does it always do that? Get out. Internet Explorer. What can I say? It was relaxing to feel somewhat human again without thinking about Ikigai or anything of this sort. Simple young adult problems were already enough for me to handle. We eventually lost track of time and wound up staying longer than we expected, making us unable to stop at the arcade before going home to dress for the housewarming party. Kay, as much as she wanted to come, had other plans, but wished us the best. The hour of the house party, blah 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 blah. And here's Mr. Dorky Dorkerson. Let's place your hand in his. As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed over my knuckles. Sorry, that was kind of creepy. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited here.
I'm honored if you just leave. My mother smiled at both of us with... I grew a lisp. I grew a lisp, yep. Which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson.
So, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Yeah! I did such a good job, all by myself. Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me. Oh, you poor whipped boy. You whipped son.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Sorry, I rolled my eyes. Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Oh, what? Oh, wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked at Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether it was good or bad, I was not able to find out. Then my father strode in like a big dick. I felt someone walk beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving me his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
You're gonna make the boy pee his pants! Andrew's body twitched slightly, whether it was fear or insult. Andrew locked his eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me at how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Well...
I was kinda hoping. I started Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO. I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
He's gonna pee his pants.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with
You're making him awkward. Stop it.
Of course not, sir.
that. And polite as well. Interesting.
I want to meet the guy who voiced his father.
If you'll excuse me.
I need to go throw up now. Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. I gotta follow him. I gotta follow him. I quickly followed Andrew, wanting to be sure he was a... Okay. Random cough. I felt a little embarrassed that my dad put him on the spot like that. I had to apologize. We wound up outside. The stars practically danced on the grass as we stood in the backyard of my mansion. Still my mansion. It had been my first time in years being out there, but my thoughts weren't on the nostalgia. Andy. Oh, there you are. Andrew turned to me in surprise. However, his face was completely red in both embarrassment and humiliation. I felt terrible.
Oh, I didn't see you or hear you following. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Stalkers don't like it when you hear them. No, it's fine. I should be the one to apologize.
What for? You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but I'm the spawn of that Satan thing. I mean, for the way my dad behaved, he shouldn't have been so...
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, I should have expected it and been more prepared.
Dude. Take off the mask that you're wearing and tell me how you really feel. Andrew rubbed the back of his neck and gave a goofy grin. Yeah, no kidding. It was intriguing seeing Andrew's professional side and then seeing Goofy smile away from everyone. Still, sorry for that.
It's not a problem, really, but thank you.
You're welcome. Do you need a hug? I can give you a hug. Don't worry about it. We both smiled at each other before I reached my hand out to him. He tilted his head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Sexto! My name is Sexto. And for people who haven't... Well, I am bothered to the highest point. Right here. Right here is not right to me. Okay. Oh my gosh, I just realized you can't see my mouse. Crap, well, how am I going to show you what I'm talking about? Oh. Well, now I'm upset. Okay, here. Just right there. Right there, his hair, right there. Just gonna move that back out of the way. I really hope you understood what I was saying. I apologize. And understanding, his smile returned before he took my hand and gently shook it.
That's a pretty name. I'm happy to know it now.
Ugh. It's not... Never mind. Nah, it's not that nice. Come on, it's so generic.
I have to disagree with you. It's much better than Andrew.
Andrew.
I mean, who names their kid Andrew?
Any normal American person? A lot of people do.
But how about Axel?
Dude.
Or Ace?
No.
Something cool like that.
I'm gonna call you the Ace Master. I couldn't help but laugh with him. He was pretty chill for a guy who was supposed to be vice chairman's son. He grinned and laughed along with me. I don't know why, but I felt warm and fuzzy inside. Whether it was the almost non-existent breeze or the situation we found ourselves in, it felt nice.
Lewis.
And Clark. And just like that, the feeling had vanished. We both turned to see my dad at the doors of the mansion, staring at Andrew with an almost deadly glare. Andrew straightened up, trying to maintain a business posture.
Yes, sir?
I was not hitting on your daughter.
Your limo is in the front. The driver has requested that you return home. Now.
Oh, all right. Thank you, sir.
His father knew he fucked up. Andrew quickly nodded to me before speeding back into the mansion to leave. As soon as I stepped to follow, my dad stepped in front of me. How you doing, Papa?
I don't want to hear it.
Uh,
Do not become friendly with him.
But
he wants to take the company away from
give
us.
a shit.
You have no reason to be friends with him.
I don't give a shit. And I have no reason to like you. Before I could retort, my dad turned away and walked back inside, muttering about how the party was nearing an end. I sighed and entered the house as well, waiting for the party to end immediately. Okay. That was fun. This is the day where I finally get to snoop through Grandpa's laptop. explore the house. I decided it was a good idea to wander around the house. I never really explored that much as a child, so there were bound to be new surprises. There were bound to be new surprises. There we go. Whoop! Come on, feet. Let's go on an adventure. She sounds like me in the morning. On an adventure! To the fridge! I stood next to my room, hoping that the boys were still asleep. I began to wander the halls on my end of the house, opening each door to find what each room led to. Quickly, I found an old office. Dun, dun, dun. A desk and a chair sat by the far side of a large bookshelf of documents and memorabilia. Domed in nooks and I've never heard that word before. Nooks and crannies. There were a couple pictures of me growing up peeking from the shelf as I walked further into the room. I don't believe I've been here before. I tried to recall memories of seeing this room, coming up with nothing as a result. This room was new to me. Did I want to disturb the furniture? I'm curious. I gently opened the shelves and drawers I saw in the room, and a couple of them were books and even sewing kits. I assumed they were used from my grandfather's toys, so I left them alone. One drawer, however, was locked, no matter how many times I pulled. Come on, open! Nothing. It would not budge. The door beside it was... I am losing the ability to talk. The drawer beside it, though, did revealing a laptop. Why is this laptop in a drawer? I lifted it from the drawer and carried it over to the desk chair, opening it. It was a high-tech laptop with a retina scanner as a padlock. I was not sure whether or not to try and unlock it or not. Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! I decided to try. I turned on the computer and leaned my face near the retina scan. Retina!
Duh!
Lined the camera up in my eye. Freaking idiot. Sometimes things just go right over my head. To my surprise, I heard a ping come from the computer before the screen opened to a desktop. Well, will you look at that? On the desktop were documents and folders labeled with different aspects of Anderson Company, Texas. Taxes, profits, bylaws, products. The list went on and on. If I really did want to become CEO of the Anderson Toy Company, I had everything about it at my fingertips. Tad was sure be impressed. One icon, however, stood out from the rest. Virago. I double-clicked the icon, but no window came up. Instead, I heard a large click come from the drawer that was locked. What the hey? I slowly left my seat and walked over to the drawer, attempting to open it again. It slid open smoothly in the direction of my pulling hand, revealing two books. One was a plain black journal with a tie to keep it closed. The other was bound in leather with a cryptic symbol all over the cover. I took out the journal and skimmed through it, seeing my grandfather's notes. They were all detailed explanations and opinions on his finding on demon magic. Oh my gosh, he knew about them. I sat down at a desk and read through the journal further, finding drawers and sketches of symbols and magic circles, each with their own different meanings and effects. It was all fascinating. There was even a page on important spells to know. I read through them, trying to memorize them into my mind. I don't know what came over me, but I started to feel more energetic and more powerful simply reading my grandfather's notes. I was suddenly aware of the energy that surrounded my body and the power that was around the house. The more I read, the more powerful I became. However, my mind suddenly froze and I found myself walking back to the drawer, putting the book back and closing the drawer. The lock reset and it snapped out of it. What? I shook my head and looked at the drawer, realizing what I had done. I walked over to the desk to reopen the lock, but suddenly felt the need to stop. Something held me back and didn't want me to pry any more than I already had. I was curious beyond belief, but I obeyed my thoughts for now. Eventually, I would come back and look into it. Oh, that was interesting. The realization that I was talking and I wasn't even recording. So, turning my heater off because it's getting a little hot. I have the option to decide what to do, and I picked grandfather's grave because that's where Andrew is. We're going to get all of Andrew's pictures first while we're here, so let's do it. It was Sunday. I felt the need to see my grandfather. It had been 3 days since he had been buried. Since he had been buried, and the cemetery was only a short walk away. I decided to see him. I took my time eating and headed out to the street to walk towards the cemetery. It was a good half-hour walk, but it would be a nice stroll. A flower shop was on the way, so I picked up some flowers for his grave. hiccup. I still felt the sting of grief run through my bones, but I knew it would eventually fade over time. I paused my journey to the cemetery to, enter the flower shop, quickly picking up a bouquet from the back display case and paying. The bouquet of lilies. The bouquet of lilies, please, and thank you. With the flowers in hand, I made my way to the large steel gates of St. Joseph Cemetery. I entered and felt the cold chill of death run through the air against my skin. Would it always be like this? The cemetery was the final resting place. It wasn't just for mourning or sadness, it was supposed to also be a place for remembrance. Harold Anderson, forever in our hearts. Nice. I sighed as I walked through the cemetery towards my grandfather's grave. Before I could reach it, though, I noticed a figure standing by the slab. Who'd that be? I stopped walking and I just got distracted by the flowers. That is the saddest thing that's ever come out of my mouth. I got distracted by the flowers. I stopped walking and tried to focus my sight to see who was standing at my grandfather's grave before I approached. I didn't want to interrupt a prayer or anything, but even more, I wanted to know who exactly was there. My mind barely considered the idea that it was my father, but it couldn't have been him. Familiar brown crowned this person's head instead of the black and gray my father had. He was vaguely familiar. Andrew? Are you okay? You look sad. It was indeed Andrew. He was very small compared to the grave. He was dressed in casual clothes, but he was giving his respects to my grandfather. I was curious as to why. I quietly stepped closer and approached Andrew at the grave, being careful not to scare Andrew. At my footsteps, Andrew turned to me and realizing it was me, turned fully to me.
Oh, Miss Anderson. I'm sorry. I'll just...
walk away awkwardly. Andrew quickly shook his head and took a step to leave. You're fine. Get back here. You're fine. I stopped him with a hand and smiled. He was merely paying his respects. There was no need for me to intrude. Andrew stared at me before smiling and nodding, returning to his place in front of the grave. He took a side step to make room for me, so I stepped next to him. I looked at the grave, running my gaze through the engraving in the stone slab before gently laying the bouquet down by it. However, I didn't stand back up. I gently sat down on the grass in front of the grave and stared at it.
Lilies?
Common flowers for gravestones, yeah? My grandfather didn't have a favorite flower. I heard and felt Andrew gently crouch down beside me. I turned my head to look at him, catching him nodding in acknowledgement to my statement. I turned back to the grave, letting out a small sigh. So can I ask why you came here?
I came to pay my respects. He was someone I really idolized.
He made amazing toys. I turned my head to him again, confused. Idolized?
Mm-hmm. He inspired me to work hard and make people happy. When I interned for his company, he was the first person to greet me at the doors with open arms, even before my father.
I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. However, the look in Andrew's eyes made my heart break. He truly idolized my grandfather like he was his own grandfather.
Your grandfather was an amazing man, but I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. He treated me better than my dad ever could. All my dad cares about is me becoming the CEO. But Harold Anderson? No.
I could practically feel my lips move in sync with I almost said Anderson. With Andrew, as he continued to speak, almost hearing my grandfather speak alongside him in the air.
He said, "Don't worry about it so much. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy instead."
He said that to me, too. Andrew turned to me in surprise, before smiling.
Really?
Oh. What?
He cared a lot about you. There were days that he wouldn't stop talking.
Damn it! I didn't think I'd do that.
Really?
Fine.
He cared a lot about you. There were days that he wouldn't stop talking about you and compared you to me.
That's adorable. I felt a blush run across my face. What things did he say?
Well, he told me how cute you were and how you loved to make people happy. He also said you always had the perfect ideas for his toys.
I felt a smile grow on my face, remembering the small moment I had helped him design his now most popular toy, the glowing heart bear. I didn't realize how proud of me he was because I was so small, but now I was older and I was able to understand. He always had me help him, even when I didn't feel like I could. He was the greatest person ever in my life. Rest in peace, phone. Just died on me. He was the greatest person ever in my life. He treated me better than my dad.
How does your dad treat you?
You don't want to know. He's pretty harsh on me. He wants me to be CEO of the company as well, since it's technically a family business.
He's strict, like my dad. Well, if it ever came to a time where the board had to decide a CEO, I'd gladly give it up for you.
Oh my god, please don't. I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Didn't he want the position? Why, you don't want to be CEO? To my surprise, Andrew shook his head with a goofy smile.
I don't. My dad wants me to take over the Anderson company, but I really am not sure if I want to or not. Sure, making toys is great and helping people is something I want to do, but I don't know if I want to head the company.
Skip. Not sure what you want to do. Just like me.
You don't want to be a CEO either?
No. Shook my head. Andrew let out a small laugh.
Man, we must be the worst kids on the planet. Our dads want us to take over a company, but we don't even want to. Imagine what would happen if they actually liked each other.
Oh, makes me want to cry. I couldn't help but laugh with him. We were in the same boat, and yet we were on opposite sides. It was like a Romeo versus Juliet. Two families competing for one goal, but the competitors didn't even want to try to reach the goal. Andrew gently stopped laughing and smiled at me.
Your grandfather was right about one thing, though. You are really cute.
Oh, stop. The blush that had faded from my face suddenly returned at his words. I looked away from him, making him laugh again.
Sorry, it's true. Cross my heart.
And you're a dork. Thanks. He was flattering me, I had to admit it. He was cute too, but I only had known him for a short while. It wasn't realistic to like him more than that. Dude, like 2 weeks he got together with an incubus. Normal human boy, I think it's okay. Andrew cleared his throat and sat up straight, rubbing the back of his neck.
I'll let you have some time with your grandfather. I don't have anywhere to be, so I'll wait by the gates and give you a ride home when you're done.
Thank you, boy. It was very sweet of him to wait for me, so I accepted his ride home, and just smiled before heading back to the gates. I remained with my grandfather. I'm sure you're laughing where you are, Grandpa. Just sitting on his grave like, kids these days. I practically glared at the grave. But after a brief second, I smiled. He's a sweet guy. He's a big fan of yours. Who wouldn't be? You cared for everyone, no matter who they were. I gently ran a finger over one of the lilies in the bouquet. It was so soft to touch, but my mind was filled with Andrew for some reason. Was this grandfather's plan? Did he hope for me to meet Andrew? And was I am totally lost at what I just read. Did he hope for me to meet Andrew as a kindred spirit? I wouldn't be surprised. I chuckled softly before standing. I'll be fine, Grandpa. Andrew's a good guy, but who knows? I am a catch. I shrugged before letting out a sigh and turning back to the cemetery gate where Andrew awaited me. I said, Andrew, right? Andrew led me to his car and drove me home. I went to my room and remained until dinner. That was a cutscene. I'm sorry, but we now have the option to glare into her soul. We have the option to glare into her soul, guys. Guys. I'm gonna glare into her soul. Why is that so funny to me? I glared hard as let, feeling a wisp of air and magic run through my skin, and oh my... Girls, we're magical. We're a magical girl. Run through my skin in veins, however, I stopped at what I saw. Around this, it was a dark purple aurora that seemed all too familiar. It was like demon magic, but it seemed to be tamer. I did not turn my light on because I'm scared. Nope, I'm not scared. I'm not creeped out in the slightest. I slowly rose to my feet, collecting my belongings as I continued to stare at Lisette. Something was off. As I continued to look at her, Aurora grew, forming a shadow behind Lisette. I am very creeped out, with a red eye, like shapes glowing from within darkness.
Anderson, you alright?
I am not okay. That is so fucking creepy. I couldn't respond. I was entranced by a small hum in the air. I am so creeped out. It was just almost like an, oh god, like an whisper you could hear in horror games. But it was real. It sounded vaguely a woman humming a tune I didn't recognize.
Hey, are you okay?
Make it stop! Let's go, we'll be late for class. I suddenly felt the need to walk away, so I did. Naomi and Suzu scrambled to catch up and followed my new quickened pace.
Sheesh, Anderson. You look like you saw a ghost.
I need to hug my bee pillow. I'm hugging a little bumblebee pillow now. Oh, it's a pillow pet. It's a pillow, it's a pet, it's a pillow pet.
Are you really okay? That fall was pretty bad.
I'm not okay.
I think she saw underneath Lisette's cake face and saw the devil itself.
I think I might have.
Oh, Suzu, hush!
No, something was wrong with Lisette. It was more than just her being mean. It was something or someone watching over Lisette. Or were they watching me behind Lisette? I'm terrified. I'm not good with horror games. When did this turn into a horror game? What they were doing, I didn't know, but it was definitely demonic. Surprisingly, the rest of the day went off without a hitch. It's just okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. No. Fight! No, it was
What are you?
Oh!
What are you?
Gotta remember, what was in that
What
book?
are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you?
No, this time. I am a magical girl. Done. I kept grumbling, trying to remember and shut my eyes. Studying for a brief second wasn't enough to keep the spell in my keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something, anything. Just gonna hug this pillow pet tighter. Squeeze the life out of this pillow pet. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. I opened my eyes and looked around. I don't like that I'm doing this at almost 2 in the morning. I looked around and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen in time, as if the clock had stopped and everything had followed suit. What the? At first, I instantly wanted to move, and my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? What the fuck are you? A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light purple orb. I stared at it. I stared as it glowed, giving off a warm feeling for some reason. This thing made me feel happy and content despite the situation I was in. My heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It couldn't have been. Grandfather? Grandpapa! I'm not scared anymore. Wait, yes I am. You're a ghost. As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into a spirit of my grandfather. From when I last saw him, I stared up at him, completely shocked at that I was correct and his form was standing in front of me.
I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubi here after all.
What? Is it really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes to acknowledge an acknowledgement before I looked at him again.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know if you were ready to know.
That you handle demon magic?
Yes.
Well, why? What was there to gain from learning and using demon magic?
It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
You meant the boys?
Yes. It was I who helped them come here. But it seems it was at the cost of my life.
What? Why you sacrifice stuff like that? None of this made sense. You died to bring the incubi into the human world. Why? My mind was practically screaming in anger. I needed answers. With the time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone?
I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
What?
Your father had always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that. He learnt of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps.
Oh.
As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
I see why they don't like each other now. I stared, trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me. I thought I would never be able to see you, but when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Why does Dad hate you so much? Why why put that on me?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
Oh.
He truly does love and care for you, but he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
Curious?
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
What a stubborn old man.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of.
My head began to spin. There was too much information. It was all going so fast despite time not moving in a single inch.
I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you.
So my grandfather meant the incubi. That seemed so surreal. I could hardly believe it, yet here was the spirit of my grandfather telling me, this game is out there. It's almost like a dream. So you introduced me to the human world, yeah. So you introduced them to the human
That's
world.
right. I told them about the wonders of our world, and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere, and I helped them as they learned more about humans. Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
So that's why they were in the house. But they say they didn't know about the house belonging to anyone.
I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they could learn to live on their own.
If the estate was meant for them, why give it to me?
I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even still, you managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic.
Why not teach me when I visited?
You were too young to understand. I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it. And you did. I'm so proud of you.
What are you saying? I barely began reading it. I don't remember anything.
I will help you remember.
Then my grandfather gently bent down and kissed my forehead. All at once my mind began to fill with spells and history and arcane metal. Holy crap. The demon world and everything my grandfather had known. I looked at my grandfather again, now able to remember everything and more as he smiled down at me.
Never forget. Make your own choices and do what you need to do. Don't let someone determine your life for you. If you decide to never look at magic again, I'll understand. But now at least you know it's there.
My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. Tried to follow after, still unsure, and was lost as ever, but my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait! He didn't turn back, and he didn't stop walking. Soon he vanished past the wall, leaving me alone once again. I gritted my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both the power to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I could never hope to shake off. I could feel the air around me to start to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember I was Max's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I could figure out my life. Soon the world around me returned to normal, with Max mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from my memory.
What the? Latin? What are you?
Disquero. Spaghetti! I am interested now. All of a sudden, a wave of light burst from my body, washing over the room, pushing the devils away from me to the ground as the light quickly faded. I shook my head, feeling a small weakness in my legs. Malix quickly hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised but irritated beyond belief.
Where did you learn that? I will rip that tongue right out your mouth!
Come and get it! Blah 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 blah.
Come here!
Malix charged at me, dropping the gun. It never hurt me to the floor and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched down and covered my head with my arms. While a dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, a dark shield appeared, blocking Malix from touching me.
How? You're just a human!
I'm a magical girl! A human who knows how to fight back. Yes. I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't some damsel in distress, I can fight for myself. I shook out the sudden appearance of numbness in my hands, and I glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me.
Malix!
Come at me, bruh.
No! Stay out of it! Kill this bitch with my own two hands, one way or another!
Do it! I dare you. As commanded, Air stood away from us along with the other devils. The group watching us was lost in intrigue as I stood up against their leader.
Oh, you must think you're some tough shit.
Oh, I am.
Well, guess what, princess? Demon magic consumes energy. I could play this all day. You finally lose all your energy. Your ass is grass.
And he is the lawnmower. I glared, knowing what he said was true. I cloned out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last well until someone found me or until I could overcome Malix somehow. Malix charged me once again, causing me to run backwards to keep some sort of distance. I feel energy wanting to shoot out from my hands. I pointed my palms at Malix. Light purple spikes suddenly began shooting from my hands, forcing Malix to get back. I had terrible aim. Me in a shooter game. Only able to scratch the edges of his body with one or two, actually stabbing into his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, pulling him up and throwing him to the ground.
Quit playing around, Malix!
I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness run up through my veins to consume both my arms. I began to pant, desperate for some relief before continuing. Malix smirked at the sight. Oh, for the love of God! Please someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't have to keep fighting. I was becoming desperate. And police sirens and the boys
It's time
appear.
to have fun, boys! Make sure you kill them all.
Yeah. And then, you know what happens. Well, Diana's here. Let's see if anything changes.
Girl, I'm a succubus.
Yeah, you creepy. Yeah.
But you seem very reckless. Too reckless.
Do I? Moved out, so from the bed, I'm still glaring at Diana. Why are you here?
Well, I came here to clean up what the boys clearly forgot to clean. Men. So sloppy.
True. What do you mean by that?
I mean erasing your memories, sweetie.
Oh! This woman wasn't serious, was she? She comes into my room and spouts this? This was ridiculous. I began to walk towards my door, wanting to leave the room. I'll just leave her in here. The boys could get rid of her. I had no mind about dealing with her myself.
The boys are gone, sweetie.
I froze in place. What? They were gone already? No way. Oh, right, they left because I never... Right. I turned Diana, glaring hard at her. She kept a smirk to me. You're lying.
Am I? If you want to go see for yourself, you can. But I promise you'll be wasting your time.
I kind of feel sad that they're gone, but, you know, whatever. I stare, trying to find any hint of she was lying. Wow! The ability to speak. She had to be. The boys wouldn't just up and leave without resting first, right? Diana crossed her arms, waited for me to make a choice. I decided to believe her for now. I'd find some hint of it in the conversation. What do you mean, take my memories?
Well, we demons can't have just anyone knowing about us. You have to completely devote your soul to learning about us. And even then, it's not always guaranteed that you can be granted knowledge of us.
What makes me not deserve to know everything? I was attacked by devils. I found the boys in my house wounded and sheltered them. I think I deserve to remember those moments. Diana let out a laugh, running a hand through her hair before looking back to me amused.
You were attacked by a gang and were almost killed. You found 5 homeless men and let them stay in your home. There's nothing special about either of these instances.
Yes, there was!
A human like you can't understand the rules. The boys themselves aren't even aware of the rules.
I didn't let her read the rest of that, but whatever. Diana flipped her hair before looking to me with a stern look.
Listen, sweetie. You're not going back to bed or leaving this house with those memories. I'm taking them from you, one way or another.
I have the power to fight you now. I glared, standing my ground. You're not taking my memories. I'm not letting you take them.
And what do you plan to do with them, huh? Tell the press? Gossip to your friends that demons exist? Confess to your parents that you had demon servants and were almost killed by a devil gang?
No, write about them in my diary. Now she was making me mad. Did you seriously think I was this stupid? These memories are precious to me, and we didn't do anything with these boys! I wasn't going to let her win over my mind. These memories are important to me. I know that they're that other creatures exist. I know the magic exists. I'm more open-minded now.
Open-minded or gullible?
You're gullible. Good comeback, May. Thank you. What does she mean by that? The point of being open-minded was to be open to all thought. How is any of this close to being gullible?
There is nothing to learn from remembering the boys that won't bring trouble. I'm merely saving you from that. There are more than just demons who want to keep their existence a secret. There are many creatures in this world that don't want to be known of, and you remembering a small fragment is not acceptable to them without good reason.
Diana smacked.
If you would have kept the boys, or at least had one of them around, they'd be a little more lenient to listen to your pleas. However, you're about to go into tomorrow without any of them around.
I know, because I already banged all of them. Couldn't believe my ears. There were more than just demons? Other fictional characters existed? There was a system? What? Diana sighs and after fingers lift my body from the ground with her magic.
Look, I can kill you and no longer waste what little time I have, or I can erase your memories and go on with my life. I have more important things to do above arguing with you.
And yet here you are! Well, that's not a good sound. I looked down at the ground to see something that made every nerve in my body quickly quake in fear. On the ground was a large open mouth with sharp, wet teeth leading to an empty black abyss. I could feel the heat from the mouth's breath pan against my floating body. I looked at Diana, who was looking at me with a stern and almost heartless gaze.
Make a choice, sweetie. Give up your memories, or be a demon's snack. I warn you, he's quite the biter.
I was panicking. I was about to die. Again! The boys were here to protect me. What was I going to do? Ooh, the choices. Ooh, the choice. Ooh, the choices. Ooh, it hurts. Here. Yeah. Okay, let's make a deal! Then I remembered demons had a conscience. They weren't heartless without reason. She could be reasoned with. She seemed like a businesswoman, because that's how they dress. Wait!
What? You're wasting my time.
What about a deal, huh? Diana raised an eyebrow. I was afraid she wasn't one to listen. What if she was ruthless as I imagined her to be?
I'm listening.
Wait, really? Was she really willing to listen to me? She didn't drop me in the pit of death, but she didn't let me out of her spell. Now is a good time to try a reason. These memories are precious to me. But they're not worth me losing my life.
Of course.
I mean, if I die, people will wonder why and try to find explanations to why I died or where I disappeared to.
Then just hand over your memories.
Stop that. What if I traded them to you instead? You seem like a reasonable businesswoman. A trade is better than forcing me to give in, right? This was insane. I didn't even know she was willing to listen. She already had me hanging over a pit of death. The only thing I could hope for was her being forgiving enough to listen to reason.
Well, speak your terms. What do you want in exchange?
Your body. I let out a relieved sigh. She was willing to listen further. Well, what can you give me in return for that?
I'm a demon. I can give you anything within reason. Money, men, women, power. Name it. Just make it worth the price.
She could really give me anything? My mind began to wander. What did I want? I'm gonna save again. Because we're gonna go back to these. Yes. And we're gonna... This is gonna be the best episode. I heard Diana stifle a laugh.
Me? Are you serious?
Serious?
What do you mean, me?
I don't even know. What are we doing? I looked at Diana again. She was indeed scary, but she was gorgeous and had somehow interested me. More so than the boys. This is... Gonna adjust my glasses here. I mean, you staying with me for a little while. I want to get to know you and these rules you're talking about.
A human wanting to know more about a demon and the rules. You're really trying to step over your place, especially if you'll be losing those memories in the end.
I'm serious. I'll give my memories and energy if you stay just for a couple days. A day even, it'll be worth it.
Completely willingly?
Completely willingly.
And if you don't fulfill your end of the bargain?
Then you can feed me to your pit beast. Did that really slip out of my mouth? Was I really wanting to put my life back on the line again? If it meant keep my memories for a little longer, then yes. Didn't look to me, scanning my body with her eyes for any signs of false intent. I didn't have any, so Diana sighed and snapped her fingers again. The demon below me vanished, and I was slowly lowered to the ground. I looked at Diana in surprise.
You are very lucky demon magic is so finicky.
What do you mean?
Why do you think demons make deals with humans like you?
Wasn't sure. Demons were still new to me. I had heard stories of people making deals with demons, and only ruin comes from it. Diana sighed.
It's one thing to take your memories or your energy. It's another for you to willingly give it. We get more for our effort if the one we make a deal with is willing. Think of it like sex. If I'm aroused and you're willing to open your legs for me, I'll get pleasure. I'll enjoy it. You might enjoy it. And it's done. But if you aren't willing and I force myself on you anyway, it's not so pleasurable for me. Even if I get what I want, it won't be as worth the effort.
Strangely, that made sense. It was very much like business. If I had what they want, they could negotiate for it, or they could take it away anyway, not without a fight. Were they all really business-oriented? My curiosity about demons grew as I realized what a deal I had made. So you'll stay for a couple of days?
A day is enough.
Damn it. Sure, fine.
Yeah, sure, fine.
I'm a teenager, that's what I say. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Diana looked up and down once again. I felt a little naked all of a sudden under her gaze, but I ignored it and shrugged.
All right.
Sleepover! With Diana. Ugh. Diana kept her eyes on me, unsure what was going on from the look on her face.
So, what do you want to know? You're obviously curious about demons enough to make a deal with me.
My first thought shot to her, but then I remembered the boys. Not all my questions were answered. I want to know everything. First of all, who exactly are you? Diana chuckled before crossing her arms.
You may refer to me as simply Diana. As I said before, I'm a succubus, and I intend to bring the boys back home.
Back home? What do you mean, back to the demon world?
Precisely. They don't belong here, and it's imperative that they return.
Why?
Did they not tell you? They're runaway royals.
Yeah, I got that kind. Got that part, yeah. I couldn't believe my ears. Oh my gosh, what runaway royals? What are you talking about? Dan simply smirked.
Ah, so they didn't tell you. How unfortunate. You were in the presence of a demon prince and his noble brothers, and you didn't even know.
I felt myself unconsciously walk over to my bed. They hid something gigantic from me. Why? Did they not trust me? Then again, it had only been a couple of days. Yet they helped me and were here for me regardless, acting like servants instead of noblemen. I gripped my head in frustration. What am I supposed to believe?
Believe whatever you wish. The confusion will fade away soon enough, regardless.
I looked at Diana, who gave me an almost somber look in return. She was serious about removing my memories, but she would keep her end of the deal until I learned all I could. That, and I felt thrilled to have her here. Maybe it was because she was a succubus. I didn't know. I sighed and faced Diana. So, how did you get to the human world? How'd the boys get here?
With the help of a human, in both of our cases. There's truly no need for details beyond that. Any human can cast a demon summoning spell. It's just a matter of what happens during the summoning and after where things get tricky.
Who got you here? What do you mean?
Well, if a human is willing, only part of their life force is taken from them, and they are given one chance to open a bridge between our worlds to allow the demon they desire to come through. The more demons come through, the more life force the spell takes. Luckily for the poor human that brought them here, the boys sacrificed some of their own powers to open the bridge instead of letting the spell feed solely on the human. The human lived, and the boys came through.
No, we didn't. It almost made sense. Something in my mind clicked. I couldn't clear it out to figure out what it was. Only nod to Diana. And you were the same?
Somewhat. However, I don't care to go into details about how I came here. You'll forget soon enough.
That's not part of the deal.
You wish to have me around for more information. I get to decide what information to
That's
give.
not fair! Cheater.
It's not cheating if it's not a broken rule.
God damn it. I huffed and crossed my arms and legs. Diana was a game player. I didn't like her rules. However, there were the rules I had to accept in order to keep my memories a little while longer. I had to find a way to remember. She wasn't going to win. Diana let out a small chuckle and ran a hand through her hair.
Well, I believe I should head to bed. If I'm to stay here, then I need some form of sleep.
I watched as Diana crossed through my room to the door and opened it. She turned to me with a small wink.
Have a good night. See you in the morning.
I first had 5 incubus. Bye, sorry. And now I have a succubi living in my house. Before I could respond, she exited my room and closed the door behind her. I stared. It was like she was in control. I gritted my teeth at the thought. She wasn't the master of the house. I was. I huffed and crawled back under my covers. How did my life get so complicated? What was going on with me? I must have serious bad luck. I sighed and covered myself with my blankets, wanting tonight to end. I need tomorrow to come. School would take my mind off things. If school actually happened anyway. Slightly groggy. Breakfast. You made breakfast? I continued my way to the dining room to see Diana laying out a plate covered with sliced fruit, and on the table there were delicious smelling eggs, toast, bacon, ham, veggies, juice. I felt my mouth salivate. Can all demons cook? But then I remembered that it was Diana serving breakfast. I shook my head. What are you doing?
You're up. Come. Breakfast. I didn't know what you liked, so I made everything I knew humans ate for this time of day.
I walked over and scanned the table before giggling. Diana raised an eyebrow at me.
And what is so funny?
You got some eggs on your boob. You didn't make everything breakfast related. You forgot a couple things.
Like what?
Coffee, pancakes, waffles. Diana looked almost insulted before looking at the table and recounting the plates. I laughed hard and making her glare at me.
I haven't been in the human world long enough to know everything, all right? Unlike the boys, I know little to nothing about what you humans eat in your homes.
At the mention of the boys, I suddenly remembered them. They treated me like part of the family, caring for me and making sure I was okay beyond anything else. They were servants to me, and I let them go. Don't remind me, you're making me feel bad. I let out a sigh at the memory. Little did I know that Diana stared at me the entire time. I shook my head and looked at the table, getting an empty plate, filling it with what I wanted before sitting and eating. Diana remained standing watching over me. I almost felt naked under her gaze again, so I looked over, pausing my eating. Aren't you going to eat?
I already ate.
What did you eat?
You really wish to know?
Yes? Yes? I wanted to know more about demons. I wanted to know more about her. Of course I said yes. I'm scared. Diana stared in surprise at me before smirking a bit and reaching into her cleavage. What? I watched as she pulled out a small pearl vial. She popped the cork and poured a mere couple sipfuls into her palm before recorking the vial and placing it back into her dress. Diana closed her eyes and closed her hand. What was she doing? This was odd to watch, yet at the same time I was practically at the edge of my seat in curiosity. What was she going to do? Her hand started to open almost like a blossoming flower, revealing a small peach-sized fruit. It was purple and had almost an enchanting smell to it. It made the food seem almost disgusting.
A plant from the abyssal plains. We call it a sweet flower. Would you like to try it?
Will it kill me? Yes. I nodded, staring at the fruit. It looked absolutely glorious and delectable. Sorry, forgot the word for a second. I couldn't resist grabbing onto the chance to try it. Diana nodded before cupping the fruit in both hands and pulling the purple flesh from the fruit, revealing the juicy, blackish center. As if it was cut on the inside, Diana pulled out a perfect slice and handed it to me.
I must say, you may be the first human to try this fruit. You should consider yourself lucky.
I nodded, not pulling my eyes away from the fruit slice in my hand. It was juicy, and its clear juice painted on my fingers. I somehow didn't care. I wanted to try it and savor it. I lifted the small slice to my lips and took a small bite, feeling ecstasy run through my mouth. I almost couldn't fight back the moan that was erupting in my throat. Dude, sexual fruit. It was sweet, yet it was slightly tart. It was a perfect combination, and at the same time, it felt so unnatural. I felt not only pleasure in my mouth, but my body began to feel energized and warm. All that was from a small bite. I swallowed the bite full and let out a pleasured sigh, making Diana smirk slightly at me with a raised eyebrow. I couldn't lie to her about how it tasted. It's delicious!
That it is. They're natively grown in my kingdom, so I have the pleasure of enjoying these every day.
You have a kingdom?
I do. The boys are not the only royals in the demon world, sweetie. I just so happen to be a princess.
She said as she flipped her hair. I stared in surprise. She was really a princess? How? She looked so mature. She was more of a queen than a princess. Really, you're a princess? You seem more like a queen! I'm so done. It's been an hour. I've been doing this for an hour, guys. For a split second, I swore I saw Diana blush. But she started to laugh. I shook my head at the thought.
You flatter me, little girl. You best be careful. I may just take your flattery as an invitation to take your energy.
Not right now. Not right now. No. I shut my mouth, feeling the blush run across my cheeks. I returned to eating the fruit, hearing her chuckle and eat the remainder of the fruit on her own. Surprisingly, I felt full just from the small slice. How could that be? The only explanation I had was that it was demon fruit, so I mentally accepted it as just that. What I didn't expect was Diana leaning over and lifting my chin and looked down at me.
Messy, aren't you?
What are you talking about? I stared as Diana came closer and gently kissed my cheek by the corner of my mouth, making me gasp slightly. My mouth has become so dry right now. What was she doing? Why was she kissing my cheek? Ew! I was red in the face already, and here she was, taking advantage. Diana pulled away and slightly licked and popped her lips.
You had a little juice on the side of your lip. It was bothering me.
I stared at her. Hold up a tissue! What are these for? I ran my fingers over where she kissed me and felt my red face grow even hotter. Diana chuckled slightly at the sight, making me almost glare at her. I didn't know if she was flirting with me or trying to embarrass me. Either way, she was winning. Eventually, my alarm started going off, reminding me I was ready to be ready for Naomi and Suzu. Right, school was a thing! I stood up from my chair and... Well, this is new music, I think. Sounds like new music. From my chair and grabbed my bag, walking out of the dining room.
And where are you going, might I ask?
You know that thing? School? I have to go to school.
Ah, I see.
Got a hiccup. I'm actually going to end it here. I guess we're not doing the finale in one episode. The finale, the Seduce Me finale, shall be put into parts. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I'm going to finish it all, guys. I'll do it all. I'll see you guys next time.